What is up, y'all? I've got William here. William is one of our top agents. In fact, William, you got Agent of the Year last year, right?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
And a frequent winner of the Agent of the Month. Although that's not the thing that motivates you. The thing that motivates you is stuff that I don't know. I've got William here because I want him to tell you about a couple deals that he had. There's some pretty awesome stories that are happening behind the scenes. And I just thought if we don't get on here and share a little bit about what goes on in a real estate transaction, or really honestly, I want to hear about there's so many transactions that I've seen how God works in a transaction, works with how I don't know with people's homes. I just feel like there's a special place for where a special attention God has on where people are living, and I've seen miraculous stuff happen, and you got a couple examples of that. So, what motivates you, William? I just want you to answer that real quick, if you don't mind.
What motivates me? Really, what motivates me is seeing people happy and just blessed through a transaction. Just being a part of that. I'm motivated by other people's, I guess, joy. Really, and joy comes from the Lord, so it's good to see that and to see some really amazing things, like you said, that God does. Um, I've seen a lot of weird transactions that would seem like on the surface that they were hanging by a thread, or just that they were so miraculous that there's no other explanation for it. It's just been really a blessing to see that and be a part of it, and I'm just thankful for it.
Yeah, man, me too. I wish I would have saved the stories, or at least done something like this, so we could just have them on record. Because it's just as you keep going, they just kind of get buried in all the stuff that happens in life, and it's easy to forget about. So you had a couple transactions recently. Let's start with the one I know about, the one in Arlington that I was kind of aware of as events were unfolding. But you were telling me about just your mentality whenever you started that transaction. And anyway, can you just tell us about what happened through that?
Yeah. So basically, the client was somebody that was through our tax protests, and I sent her an email one day just checking in on her. I mean, we'd had several phone conversations before that, but checking on her just to see how things were going. She's got a business in Puerto Rico, and that was their motivation for selling. Was they felt like God was leading them there. And so she just asked me about the market. It was last fall, and I said, well, it's getting, it's getting a little better, but it's still kind of weird. And so they were really motivated to get their house on the market, and things started just kind of snowballing. And so we got ready to list it this year and went on the market, and we had 54 showings, I think it was, in the first 24 hours. I told them it was going to be crazy, so they went and got a hotel room. And so it was crazy. I mean, it was ridiculous. She told us she was tired of getting notifications, so we shut the notifications off for her. And then we had, I think it was 13 offers, like right off the bat, set a deadline. And we had this one showing that called at like 4 o'clock. The deadline was 5 o'clock, and they were like, can we please get in there? And we just opted to let them go in. She felt like it was the right thing to do, and it just happened to be the right buyer, the right showing. We listed the house at 235, and this buyer wrote the highest offer of 253. And so it was like barely by the deadline. I mean, they showed it, wrote the offer, and it was like
very last showing,
crazy.
huh?
Yeah, it was the last showing out of 54. And at the last minute, like the last day, the last showing, deadline. And so didn't realize it at first, but it was a really good offer, obviously, and that was the one they selected. And after we were under contract, she got really curious because the name of the buyers looked really familiar to her. She looked it up, and it turns out that the husband was actually the doctor that was at the clinic that she went to when she had West Nile. And I don't know a lot about West Nile, but she was kind of schooling me on it. And apparently there's a significant risk of like a brain trauma that comes from it because there's swelling. And this guy just knew and that there was something more than what the tests were showing her, and told her she needed to immediately get to the emergency room And so she left. He called the emergency room. She got there, and they immediately started, I guess, treating her as if she had it, then found out and confirmed that she did, and ultimately prevented some serious permanent repercussions, possibly death. And it was just really weird. And on top of that, like, she was writing them a letter explaining that for after closing. And they came in and did their final walkthrough, and they wrote her this really long letter about how thankful they were for the house and how it was the perfect fit and what they had been looking forward to retire in. And so they like wrote the letter basically at the same time for each other. And so anyway, it was really cool. She was, when we were in title, doing the closing, she was actually telling the title company people about it. And you could just see that it was one of those things where sometimes when God intervenes in something, somebody may or may not totally understand that concept, but you can feel it when the story is told. And you could just see that kind of conveyed in her story in a way that not every story does. So it was really for his glory. And that's really the whole thing, is that you asked what my motivation is. I guess that's probably it, is just to glorify him. And it usually comes out in serving others and watching their joy. So it was really cool. It was I don't know that I did my job, but I don't know that I did anything special. It was really just what God does and being able to watch it. And that was really the blessing of it, is to see it happen.
Man, there's details of that story I didn't know about. That's just incredible, man. That's just amazing. I mean,
there was a lot of other things, but
yeah,
that's the surface of it. It was pretty impactful, man.
wow. So the seller, our client, she recognized the buyer's name. Did the buyer have any clue who the seller was?
Not until the letter came.
Wow. Not
so
until
like the letter they wrote
after closing.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. That is so crazy. That is
amazing. And then they exchanged numbers and they ended up talking, and yeah, it was really a cool
That's
thing.
That's amazing.
She gave me an update afterwards.
That's cool. I just sold my house and I'm buying another one, and it's a weird thing because your home is a very personal thing, and it's like just thinking about all the memories in the house that we've had, and thinking, well, some new family's about to come in here and enjoy the same area and have all new memories, and so it's an emotional process. There's no way around that. It just is. There's just so much that is wrapped up into home, and then when you have something like that happen, man, that's got to make that selling her house to somebody just so much sweeter, because you know that it just adds a specialness to it that you can't manufacture. That's really cool. I can only imagine.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. Hey, all right. So I'm struggling to even think about what this other deal was, but there was another deal you had recently that had some crazy turn of events. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm still in it.
Are you? Okay. Too early to talk about it, or you want to talk about it?
I can talk about it. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So basically the client is a referral that I got from a client that we sold the house and helped them buy their new one. They actually ended up being my neighbors. And these people they're a starting family. Like they've got a baby on the way. Just a really cool deal. And I don't know how motivated they were at first, because we looked at some houses and they were kind of feeling overwhelmed because the market is crazy. And I mean, it's really crazy. Like we looked at 3 houses and they were gone before I got home to even contemplate writing an offer. They had already accepted offers. It's just really, they were kind of thinking maybe they needed to wait until things kind of level out. And I went ahead and sent them over to a lender that we use, and he kind of helped reiterate that it's going to be fine. We're going to find a house. And so we together kind of talked him into it. Scheduled 4 more showings. By the next day, one of them was not available. So that was happening again. And we went and looked at these 3 houses all together that were left. And they both really liked this one, but were kind of afraid because just the way the market is. So wrote the offer. The agent called me. That was on Friday. The agent called me on Monday. They were supposed to present. She said she had a couple questions. She told me she had 40 offers, and ours was in the running. She didn't tell 40? Me what number it was. 40.
All right.
Yeah. So she asked me a couple questions, and I answered it. And they had written a letter, which I know has kind of been not the most popular thing lately because of just everything I've seen that a lot as a listing agent. Not everybody wants to do it, but they did. And that ultimately, I think, was really what got their offer accepted. So she called me back the next morning, the agent did, and she said, well, hey, they're going to go with your offer. And I just want to tell you, this is basically what the seller said. That was us in 2014 when we bought the house. Like everything that's going on in their life is exactly what we experienced. Then she said that their offer, the seller's offer when they bought the house, wasn't the highest offer, but the seller at the time saw the need that they had and just wanted to bless them. And so they wanted to pay that forward. And so she just wanted me to know that, to tell them that it wasn't the highest offer, but that they could see God working in their lives and just wanted to pay it forward and bless them too. Mm. And so then I found out more, but long story short, it's just one of those things that when you're really just looking at the surface, it looks like, hey, great, you're the luck of the draw. You got the offer accepted, whatever, out of 40, you must have had the best, but it's not always that gets it done. And actually, if you really look at it the way I believe, it never is. It's always the right fit. It's always the right seller and the right buyer, because every appointment's a divine appointment. And so to be able to witness that is a gift that doesn't happen every time. We don't always get to see that, but it's really impactful and cool when you do. And then you could see, like, they both wanted to talk to each other, and they're giving them baby clothes and all this stuff. Like, it just craziness came out of that one, instance where they kind of laid it on the line and put their heart out there. So I just want to use that probably to encourage people not to give up and to just keep doing the best that you can to try to convey what your need is and why you are in life where you are, and just let God work on it.
Awesome, man. Great stories. Well, that is so cool, man. Thank you so much. I don't know. I got so many things to say, but I think your stories say it all. So, hey, if you watch this, you want to work with William, William's plate is pretty full, but if that's the way it's going to be if you're a top-notch agent like William. But I'm just grateful to work with you, and grateful to have those kind of stories happening, and grateful that you can recognize them and we can share them with folks. Hopefully it gives people a little insight, a little inspiration, and a little positivity to their news feed today. So there you go. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
You got it.